Oh! Remix. There's no energy like leaving Las Vegas energy, am I right?
That means that there's no energy.
There's no energy. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the DNVR show! Oh my gosh, the energy is so high. Why? Because shortly after the show, we're all going to fly home and see our loved ones.
Well, I live alone.
Well, that was a tough break. We are live right here from Circa for the last time this week, right outside of Stadium Swim. Beautiful Stadium Swim, where just yesterday, immediately after the show, we all had a little dip, did we not?
I put my little footies, my little feeties in there.
Oh man, it felt so amazing. This place really is awesome. It's so fun being here.
It is.
Real quick spoiler alert. I went 4 for 4.
4 for 4.
4 nights gambling, 4 nights winning. Dev, I'm telling you, that's never happened to me before in my life.
That hasn't happened to many people in this world.
I don't think I've ever batted 500 gambling in Vegas.
Funny.
4 for 4 at Circa this week.
It's a double win. Circa, they have our back.
I just got this email, though, from Circa that says we're no longer welcome. So,
That is so true.
thanks, man.
It was a great...
Not even that hungover, just sort of broken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, same kind of thing. Over here, Brendan Vogt.
I feel great. I could do another week, but I'm also really excited to go home.
Brendan was shirtless less than 1 minute ago.
It's 100 plus degrees.
And then, of course, rounding out the show, Superstar Dev.
I mean, I'm on the same thing as Vogt. I mean, I could stay another week. Do I want to? Maybe. Am I gonna? No, let's hurry up and get the hell out of here.
If we were doing like a Survivor style, last person to leave Vegas, or last person to leave wins, like who do you think would win that between the 4 of us? Actually, well, we got Kale. We got Kale as well.
Well, are you disqualified if you die?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Oh, so you're out of it. You're out of it. Vogt might not make it. Kale's answer.
Kale wins again.
Survivor.
On today's show, we're going to talk about Julian Strawther and great summer league performance. Michael Malone had an interesting comment the other day about, hey, the starting lineup is not, or the shooting guard position is anybody's game. It's up for grabs. So does that mean Julian Strawther could actually win that? We'll talk about that. We'll also preview this game and talk about what we expect from the guys who are going to be playing tonight. DaRon Holmes had his surgery. We're going to have a little bit of fun about ghosts of Summer League Pass. And then later in the show, Super Chatter himself, Cedric Exquisite, is going to stop by and terrorize us.
Super guest.
Super guest Cedric Exquisite.
Can't wait.
But first, let's start with Julian Strawther, who, by the way, I do not expect to play tonight. I do not expect him to play tonight. He might be done for the Summer League, but definitely tonight, I do not expect him to play, which is interesting because I think it'll open up opportunity. We talked about this. He has been battling the ankle injury. He's played really well. Do we need to see anything? So I think he's going to get a little bit of a rest and maybe even totally shut it down. But he has been playing so good that I feel it is time for us to put on our rose-colored glasses and explain to people why the future is bright. This is a new segment, you guys, brought to you by Shady Rays. Head to shadyrays.com and use code DNVR at checkout, and you get 35% off of polarized sunglasses. The future is bright for one Julian Strawther. He's scoring 28.5 points per game, shooting 41% from 3 and getting 11 threes off. Checked all the boxes he needed to check. But now the question is, could he start? We all think that is going to be Christian Braun, but Vogt, is there a chance it could actually be him and he's the better fit there?
Fun conversation. I think the answer is no. But it's worth talking about, and I know other people in the media and fans have thought about, well, why not just put Julian in there? And obviously, as Malone said, it's an open competition. Malone likes to say that, though. And I do think what he wants is, in this case, Christian Braun, not to take anything for granted, not to assume this position, not to stop pushing himself and working and understand that, it can be taken away from you. Julian even can take it away from you. So I think it's more of a positioning thing for Christian of like, hey man, you have to fight to not just earn this for opening night, but all 82 games. And I think that's a good message. I also just think Christian is the guy that should play next to Jokic. I think when he's on the floor with Jokic, he knows what to do. He's a good cutter, plays hard, can hit a wide open 3. I don't think he's a raise all tides guy off the bench. Whereas maybe Julian can at least provide a little more pop offensively. So it might just make more sense to chain Christian to Jokic and let Julian be a create some offense off the bench guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that Strawther has to play because he's proved enough in Summer League. But the question of if he's going to start, that goes to show how well this Summer League was, that you're asking these type of questions. That means that he really has impressed to where this is something that he said is up for grabs. Like, Malone is openly said it at Summer League that this is up for grabs, and that's while watching him. So maybe he struck a chord there where it's like, hey, you played so well that we're not going to just give it to Christian. And also, I don't think that Christian's a player that just kind of wants it. He seems to be a player that wants to push hard and try to do better. And I think when you have two young guys like that, you can tinker with lineups. Maybe you'll see both of them at times, but like just making sure that he's ready and he has that pop and he's able to like stand out in those type of ways, it goes a long way. So I think that you have to feel good about that draft pick to know that maybe, in year 2, literally in year 2, you have a chance to start.
Yeah. Michael Malone really likes Julian, though. I mean, I know this question sounds so easy, like, what are we doing here? It's Christian Braun. But one, why did Malone say it? And two, he loves Julian. He calls plays for one guy on the team, Julian.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we're in the part of, Christian Braun's not playing right now. Like, he would probably look incredible on a Summer League squad also. He has in the past. Julian, it's like Dev said, like, Julian has just been that brilliant, which is so encouraging that you have a guy that's flashing this hard in Summer League, which is like the key indicator, not always, but oftentimes a key indicator for a guy that's made a leap is that he has, like we said yesterday, he has surpassed the competition that Summer League provides, which is the lowest bar of NBA competition, but it's like
some people did not pass.
Lots of people are not passing it, like, so it's like not a great sign. But, Julian, Christian Braun is going to start. I mean, this is his 3rd year. He's been like playing meaningful minutes. He's been closing games. It's like Julian is again flashing in Summer League, so it just begs the question. But it really is just an indication of how well it's gone for him.
So nobody's taking the bait on this one, and I understand why. I do think Christian Braun, like if you were handicapping this, clearly minus money, right? I went down to the sports book at Circa. They had a minus 500 for Christian Braun to start.
Yeah, don't bet that. If you want to go 5 for 5, don't bet that today.
Yeah, no. But here's the thing. KCP brings shooting and he brings defense. Christian Braun replaces the defense. Julian Strawther replaces the shooting. And I actually think that while I agree with you guys, Christian Braun's earned this, and I think he's going to be phenomenal there, and he's going to play a lot of minutes. I'll throw this out there. I don't know that the Nuggets' starting lineup should operate the way that this year's starting lineup operated, which is every night you start and close with the same guys,
sure,
and that's exactly how it is. I think we might be getting to a point now where it's like, hey, we have a bit of a flexible starting lineup, or at least a flexible closing lineup. And I expect that to be the case. So maybe even more important than starting, the idea is Julian might be out there because the Nuggets matchup calls for an extra shooter, not an extra defender. And if you need an extra shooter, I think he is the guy. So you go from him playing the minutes that he played last year to now a point where whether he starts or not, there will be games where he acts as a starter in key moments.
There's going to be a lot of that. And you know what separates that or makes it different? Because I do think that if you were just, catching a bait or whatever you want to call it, the idea of this is a contending team. This is a team, and most contenders have vets. Right. KCP is a vet, so you kind of feel like you owe it to him. Yep. Behind that, you don't owe it to Christian Braun. He doesn't have many starts under his belt. It's only 3 years. You have 1 extra year. So it's like, hey, if this is not working or if we want to tinker, there is times that you can go with that, and it doesn't look as bad or it does not feel as bad. It's like understanding, hey, this matchup calls for shooting. This matchup calls for defense, and we just saw that in this last series, which was it sticks on everybody's mind is Christian Braun clearly was not the better player than KCP throughout the year. You're going to go with the vet. But Christian Braun defended Anthony Edwards a lot better, so you're like, in hindsight, like maybe we should have went more with that, or maybe that could have got more minutes. I don't think that you do that with a Strawther. If he's playing well, we're going to ride the hot man, and we're going to, it's going to be interchangeable. So I do think that having a younger team like that, it lends the idea of maybe we can go with that and just see. We're just going to tinker.
Yeah. I think that there is some tinkering, and that with this year's team more, or there should be, I should say, more than there has been in years past. I mean, even if you go beyond this, Denver has had a pretty fixed starting lineup. Michael Malone has a fixed rotation. Yep. He really doesn't change things around a whole lot. There are coaches out there. Popovich was one of them. Nowadays Spoelstra really does this a lot, where it's like, who's starting tonight? Nikola Jovic, making his debut in the NBA, but he's going to start at power forward or something. And some guys like to do that, some guys don't. But I think this year Nuggets' roster is flat enough that it would make sense to do that. And by the way, I've said this about Peyton Watson. I'd like to see Peyton Watson get minutes with the starters more often, and I hope he starts a handful of games. Probably not whenever people is healthy. He's not like Julian where he can leapfrog one of those guys. But I do hope there are opportunities for him to go out there so you get more of a sample size. What did we say this last year that Christian Braun with the starters was like 38 minutes or something like that? Can't happen this year. We need to see a lot of different minutes with combos so you can get to the playoffs and know, okay, this is what happens when we play this combo. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. But I mean, just to put a point on this, like Christian Braun brings the point of attack defense that,
so important,
that the Denver Nuggets sorely need in that starting unit. There are nights where it's like, wow, we're not getting broken down by the guards of the other team, so we have the luxury of just having a guy who can let it fly. But more often than not, because Jokic is not a rim protector, you have to have perimeter defense, and so
you're right, Dylan.
You just have to put Christian Braun in there. You have to slot him in unless the situation arises. And also another thing about Michael Malone is that he is principled, has hard and fast rules until they don't work, and then he changes them. Yeah. So we'll see.
What about this? Is there another person? Maybe a Russell Westbrook, should he arrive? Is there a chance Russell Westbrook is actually the starting shooting guard?
Jesus.
Or actually, maybe Jamal Murray is the starting shooting guard, Russ the starting point guard. I mean, I don't know. Is that a thing? All right, you just said Jesus. Here's the thing. Russell Westbrook is an MVP in this league.
Yes.
He's been around. He sacrificed for James Harden,
James Harden has also been an MVP in this league.
That's true. But he sacrificed. But when you go Julian Strawther, Christian Braun are ahead of you in that spot, he's like, what? I don't even know what those guys are.
With a Russell Westbrook, it all comes down to Malone, and we know what Malone loves. Malone loves guys that are going to go all out. There's going to be professional and play hard. Russell Westbrook is going to play hard every single game, and he's going to call teammates out. He's going to push, and get that out. So it wouldn't be surprising, really, if there's times that you go with a Russell if he's there. There's times that you go to Julian Strawther. I think that it's time to really start feeling like you can make these type of changes, and it's like, okay, this is just the push. This is what we're going with now, and try to motivate in different ways. So the fact that he openly says this is the one spot that's open, it is. I really do think that it's a competition, and Christian Braun has to get better because he's not slotted in to just be perfect. There's strengths and weaknesses to him in every single way. There's that. I think that with Strawther being a ready scorer, I think that it suits him to be off the bench. You're going to need that defense in the starting lineup, so I think that Christian Braun just makes most sense there. But I do like the Russell Westbrook question.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like this idea of let's just say Christian starts and Jamal starts. Your training camp battles when you scrimmage, Russell Westbrook and Julian Strawther versus Christian Braun and Jamal Murray, that's competition. We actually haven't had competition like that in camp before. It's usually okay, well, here. Now it's, hey, second team won again today. Kept taking it to him. I could see it.
That might be an actual battle. They might actually fight. I would love that.
Real cool. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, man, if this Russell Westbrook thing happens, we're saying we've always want that guy, the dog.
I got that dog in him.
I'm a little nervous now. That might be a little too much
That's
dog.
A lot of
dude.
dog. That's a lot of dog, dude.
A perfect amount of dog. Let's just hurry up. I'm going to do it first. I'll be a Russell Westbrook. That'll be my guy.
Oh,
really?
No kidding.
Are you going to get
what?
You're running
out
of
first. Everybody's seen it. I called it first.
That's a volatile stock. You did call it. That's a volatile stock.
I've always been a Russell Westbrook.
I know. That's the worst part. I'm going to officially be not the Russell Westbrook guy.
I think you're going to be Russell Westbrook's guy, so I think it's a win-win over here.
It's that it. They're not like us.
Might they?
Yeah.
Really,
all the rest of us.
Let's put a pin on it. We'll talk about this later on if it happens.
All right, let's take our first break. On the other side, I do want to wrap up with one more thought on Julian Strawther. What parts of his game are we certain are going to translate? What parts are we not sure are going to translate? And what parts will not translate from what he did at Summer League? And then we'll move on to the other Nuggets.
Yeah, I wish Malone could just use Indeed to find the perfect two-guard here, but he doesn't have that option.
No music.
Driven by the search for better, it's Indeed, baby. When it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't actually to search at all. You want to find a match, and with Indeed, you can. It's your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global visitors, and that's according to Indeed data. And a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Fast is a key word here, but it's not the only one. You also want to get this right. It doesn't just help you hire faster. It helps you find the highest quality matches. 93% of employers agree that Indeed does just that. And of course, listeners to this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. You just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now to support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed. And I can't wait to get back to the great state of Colorado, where I am going to fire up the Bet365 app. I don't even know what bet I'm going to place yet, but I'm going to place one.
Just do it.
I'm just going to do it. Obviously, NBA bettors can enjoy Bet365 throughout the basketball seasons. And you don't have to be a basketball fan. You can be enjoying all kinds of sports because Bet365, tons of options for you. They don't do ordinary. They think every sport should be epic. Right now, it can be for new customers that sign up, use code DNVR365, deposit $10. You get either a bet and get offer, a first bet safety not offer. Then you keep your eyes peeled for all kinds of cool offers like the NBA early payout offer. You can win a bet even if your team goes up 20 and they lose. Not like that would ever happen, but if it did, you could have won that bet. But you have to be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we back?
We back.
All right, let's get to Julian Strawther here. The last part of this, what parts of the game are you buying? What parts are you not? D-Line, I'll let you start this time. What are you buying about his game? What's going to for sure translate?
The shooting.
What kind of shooting, though?
The shooting from distance and just his quick release, the way that he comes around curls. I mean, there's the off-the-dribble stuff. There's the catch-and-shoot stuff. It's just I just am a believer in his shot. I'm interested. I'm a believer, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued by his driving and finishing at the rim also. This is something that I didn't really see from him prior to the Summer League session, and I don't know if it's real or not at all because guys, generally speaking, don't play in Summer League the way that they play in the NBA. But it's awesome to see that he has it. It's awesome to see his fearless nature and the fact that he'll take it. And I mean, my man hit the ground way more than Joel Embiid does in a normal game. So I don't know if that's...
I don't know. Come on. We don't have to exaggerate over
it.
It
was up there.
I know what you're saying, but let's not get ridiculous.
So I don't know if it's like a tenable way to go about playing NBA
That's
offense.
the meanest thing you've ever said about Julian Strawther, to be honest.
You know what? I apologize.
Yeah.
I've had time to reflect on it, and I want to take it back. But listen, man, he's looked awesome, and he's looked dynamic, and he's looked like a one-man show, which is not anything we've seen from him again. But I think that the one thing that you can count on translating is his shooting, shooting from distance.
Dev, do you think it's all shooting?
I think, yes, in a sense, but I think more so the thing that sticks with him is, like, the confidence. He really, this time it was like,
I like this.
Even though he was not making every single shot, like, he's still shooting every single shot, and he does not get down on himself when shots are not falling. He's just like, okay, the shot's not falling, I'm going to try to get to the rim. Okay, that's not going, it's in a different way. And when he came into, the NBA, there's 3-and-D guys, his was 3 and float. He hasn't just shot floaters this entire time. He's really trying to get downhill and try to finish around the rim. So, like, he is adding those aspects to his game, and he seems to, like, really, really want to get better. I think that that's, like, a huge part of the confidence of, I'm going to showcase that I can play make, this year, even though I'm not a playmaker. I'm going to try to show that I can get downhill and try to finish even though I'm injured, and that's not the best part of my game. I'm going to show I can take 5 shots in a row without, being too high or too low, and then it's those heat check moments. He missed like 3 shots in a row and still took a shot that was so far. Like, he can extend the defense, and he's going to need that because, like, as a shooter, you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, but if you can, continue with that, shoot. And I think that's his thing, is he's okay just shooting.
I do think he's best, though, specifically in the catch and shoot thus far.
Yes,
I think
I agree.
He's been when he catches a clean ball in the pocket and his feet are set, that thing doesn't even touch the rim. It doesn't come close to the rim. I actually still think the jury's still out a little bit on the off-the-move stuff is, I think, about his potential, what we think he can do, what we've seen him do.
I agree.
But it's still a bit inconsistent to me.
And sometimes, like, an air ball that's so bad, you're like, what the hell was that?
And I say this, I'm a fan of Julian's. He's been very impressive. So he either shoots a perfect 3-ball or he almost breaks the backboard. And I think, like, some of those are the off-the-move stuff. So I think that's still a work in progress. That said, Malone has said to my face, that he drew more plays for Julian Strawther than anyone that's not named Jamal Murray or Jokic on the team. So clearly they believe in his ability to move, catch on the move, shoot on the move, but I think it's a work in progress still.
The reason I think that point, because I'm with you, what I buy first and foremost is catch and shoot three-point shooting. The other type of three-point shooting I like half buy because I think he can be good at it. But if you told me he struggled this year and shot 35% from three, 45% on catch and shoots, but like 25% on all others, I'd be like, yeah, I could see that. I actually could see that the overall number's a little lower than you would expect because of that. And if you look at it, he took one of the things that we love about him. He took 11 threes a game in summer league. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But what would be the rate, that equal rate, if it was at the NBA level? It's probably lower because he probably needs to not take some of the aggressive threes that he takes in this setting. Yeah. And so I think that's going to be one of the keys for him is finding out how to stay aggressive from the three and how to rein it in a little bit. He also, I will say this, got blocked a lot. That was one of the things that when you see a guy get blocked at Summer League, the athleticism and size is so much bigger. And one thing that stood out about Summer League this year is how small everybody is. There's not a lot of bigs that they have gone up against, and he's still getting a shot block. So I think that's one thing that it stood out to me where I go, I'm not sure I'm buying his off-the-dribble game at the NBA level. I think that one is the one that's going to be a little more hit or miss.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get that much opportunity, especially if he's playing with Russell Westbrook. And it's not likely that they're going to turn. Although it does look like they are seeing how viable it is for him to play some combo guard, like to actually handle the ball at some point. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll give him somewhat of a pass too, in that that's a pretty gnarly right ankle he's jumping off of when going towards the rim. But I agree, man. It's still like he's very good at a couple of things, but I don't know if there's a ton of in-between game. Yeah, I'm not super confident about him getting to the rim and finishing at the rim. But we'll see, man. He's a young player, and that's what these reps are about. Get better.
Let's move on now to the Nuggets play the Hornets tonight. So no Julian, I believe. No Julian. So it looks like the Nuggets are going to – I actually like this because it opens up opportunities for other guys. The Hornets are 1-0. Man, talk about well-rest. Nuggets have played 3 games. They played China and then 2 teams.
Back to back,
man.
Dude.
And all of a sudden the Hornets are coming in. Who set the schedule? David Stern? But they have Salon was their draft pick. They have Brandon Miller. I don't know if he's going to play tonight. And then they have your boy, KJ Simpson, playing. So they got a couple young guys that'll be interesting. As I said, they played 1 game and they won it. But tonight, if Julian does not play, it's all about Trey Alexander. I've been saying this. My number one thing is how does he play now that he's the main guy, the main focus, and how many shots is he even able to get off? That's my big thing tonight, Dev.
Yeah, and also on a rookie, like to come into that, especially an undrafted rookie, to not be the guy. All eyes were going to be on Julian Strawther. Is he's going to step into that role like, okay, that's going to be in me? Or does it go to a Hunter Tyson? Does it go to, a Jalen Pickett? Because those are the guys. But I feel like how he's been playing and the type of confidence and level that he's playing at, he's like, okay, I'm going to be able to create for myself. And that'll show you a little bit about him and, like, take him into his psyche of where he feels that he fits in. Like, am I going to be a scorer? Am I going to be a playmaker? Am I going to try to, fit in with the team, or am I going to stand out? So I think that this is a perfect opportunity to see exactly what type of player mentally he feels that he is. I think that it's going to be the scorer. I think he jumps right in and says, okay, I step in and I'm going to take that over. And I would love that. That's competing in a different level of not just, hey, I want to be part of the team, but I'm here to stay. I would love that.
It also tells you something about his confidence because, if he comes out and is like, all right, it's my time, like that you're like, man, that guy has something, He might be nervous, though, also. What are you looking for tonight?
Excuse me, guys. Yeah, Trey Alexander, I think, stepping up into a bigger role if Julian doesn't play. But also Hunter Tyson, who I think has not been good. So that's important to lead with. But I don't think he's been put in a great position thus far with this team and this roster. And maybe, just maybe, if there's less Julian ball, Hunter can be that guy. Now, he's got to earn it. Like, he's got to be better than he has been, and he has to be better defensively. But this is the thing about Hunter Tyson. If you're going to rule him out because of one summer league, you kind of also have to factor in the summer league where he made first team. He can play at this level. It's not a hopeless operation here. So I'd love to see Hunter show a little something, and not just because he's a friend of the show now, but because I think he's better than he's shown so far.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, to me, tonight is all about Hunter Tyson, honestly. He's one of the 2 guys that are under contract. And to that end, like, Jalen Pickett. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of us are feeling some resignation when it comes to Julian Pickett. What is my problem?
I know it is hard though.
Jalen Pickett. When it comes to Jalen Pickett, he's a guy that we have looked to the future as a guy that's like, okay, cool, we can slot him in. He's been in the program for a year. He's learned this, that, the other, and it just has not materialized in any way, shape, or form here in Summer League. And again, with all of this, it has to be mentioned, like, this is not a standard style of play for the NBA. Like, it doesn't really have a lot of parallels outside of guys just being able to do for themselves. But Hunter Tyson, Jalen Pickett, without the guy Strawther out there, like, being the offense, like, those two guys have an opportunity to show a little something, because it hasn't been good to this point, and it needs to be a lot better.
Yeah, I think those ones are all good. To me, Jalen, I don't even know if there's anything that could happen. He comes out tonight and has a 30-point triple-double. I don't know if, like, the fan base was like, well, hold on. I mean, I don't know.
I think there is. There's
all right.
You want that.
Of course.
You want him to just, like, get back to him. This is a bad showing for anybody. It's not just Jalen Pickett or, like, he's just not playing well. And they're giving him as many opportunities as they can. So, like, that's good on the organization. Like, hey, he played 30 minutes last game. He could have just pulled him and things like that, and he has to stick with it. This is like a mental fortitude thing. You're not playing well. How do you, improvise? How do you, try to make the team better in different ways and not give up in the middle of games? So this is a kick a man while he's down. How will you respond? Pickett has an opportunity to respond.
Yeah. Another piece of house cleaning news here. DaRon Holmes had his surgery yesterday in Colorado, and I talked to his agent the other day, and he said, and we actually saw this. We saw him in the tunnel afterwards, and I just kind of expected, like, tears. Like, it was a heavy moment. His family, I think, was very distraught. It was tough. We saw his family on the timeline. Like, it was a big deal, obviously devastating. But one of the comments we had when we saw DaRon Holmes in the tunnel walking out with a boot on, with the news already out that he had torn his Achilles, so it was already known, was kind of upbeat, like he's still with it and this or that. And when I talked to his agent, he said, listen, man, I'm not just telling you this because I tell you, I've had other clients that have suffered injuries. I've had to talk them off the ledge because, this or that. He's like, DaRon Holmes woke up the next morning and said, like, all right, let me know who's gone through this before. Let me connect with them. Let me get started. And the thing I love most, Dev, is this was the line he told me. He said, this gives me an opportunity now to sit and be a student of the game. Yeah. I'm going to have to be on the bench. I can't play, so I need to learn the playbook. I need to learn the terminology. I need to learn all this stuff. And I thought, that's such an encouraging perspective for a guy to say, okay, I can't physically do anything, but mentally I can still grow a year. Yeah,
that's encouraging, and that's also about community and just like belief. Like, that means that he has strong people around him that support him, that is, getting them mentally to that ready, like, to be ready for that. Yeah. This was already going to be a learning year. He now doubles up the learning year and just learn it in a different way. This is a cerebral year for him, but also, like, how do you fight through adversity? So I love that. He really was, not to say upbeat, but it's just like, okay, he could have handled that in different ways. This is, your first opportunity. This is your dream, and you finally accomplished, get to that point, and it doesn't go that well. But, like, he's like, okay, how do I respond? How do I get better? He's going to be behind people that is perfect for him. Aaron Gordon overcomes adversity, and is good with that. Nikola Jokic, he's a student of the game. So you have these two guys at your disposal, and then you have young guys that have gone through, like, these. Michael Porter Jr. has gone through, a big injury in that first year.
Yes.
Like, how do you have that, and how do you use that to your, to the best of your? You have Julian Strawther, who's another young guy that's playing really well, who had to do the ups and downs. So I think that this is, in a way, part of being a rookie, but just in a different way. I love that mindset.
Yeah. I love that you brought up the redshirt Nuggets. Michael Porter Jr., as you mentioned, was a redshirt. P-Watt, even though he went down to the G League, was basically a redshirt. Monte Morris was a redshirt. Colin Gillespie was a redshirt. Jared Vanderbilt was a redshirt. There is precedent. All of those guys played. Even Colin played the least of those, but all those guys played. One of them starts, and they've all had something similar. So to me, I look at this and I go, you know what? There is something to it.
Yeah, it's not a lost cause. It's not. And I think it's, it reminds me of what Julian said about coming out of his injury to us the other night, and how he was really able to sit and learn, and that went a long way to the mental part of the game slowing down.
Not even that. He said that was where the growth came. Like, he played, that was just almost like he had to get through it. But then when he stopped playing is when he grew.
Precisely, yeah. Specifically that mental part.
Yep.
And so that's an interesting detail. Now, we're sugarcoating what is an objectively bad thing to have happened to DaRon Holmes. This is an uphill battle. His chances of making it took a real hit. But these are the things that make the difference. This kind of mentality, asking the questions he asked his agent about reaching out, those are the signs you have that, all right, what does it take to be the kind of guy who puts the work in mentally and physically to recover, and not just recover, but come out of the gate with something, having learned something. And so I think it's a really encouraging sign, if nothing else, man, even if we never, ever see DaRon Holmes, and we might. Yeah. I learned a lot about the young man in that short window, and it's impressive.
I'll ask you this way. I think the G League peaked like 5 years ago. I think the G League has kind of fallen apart to where, like, I don't even know how valuable it is. But I do wonder, like with Colin, he gets hurt, and instead of playing in the G League, he's around the guys. And you know what happened in that time? The guys all loved him. He became one of the guys. He's a very personable person. Became one of the guys, learns the terminologies around the coaching staff, this or that. You said we're sugarcoating it. I'm not even sugarcoating it, man. Like, obviously, I would prefer him not to be hurt. But I do think there is something, too. There are some positives that might come out of this that wouldn't have come out. Like, now he's not in Grand Rapids. He's constantly here. He's working with the training staff on other parts of his body physically. He's learning the terminology. He gets to be around and liked and everything else. And that actually might have a different type of benefit to it.
You're right. I mean, ultimately, it got Colin Gillespie sent to Phoenix, but
it wasn't because of that, though. No, it wasn't because of that.
I know. Listen, like, if the plan truly was to play a absolute rookie at the 5 or the 4, like that was their actual plan, like that's more troubling than this injury. I mean, it is unrealistic to think that he was going to have a major role this year. It is. Is
it though?
I mean,
was it? Is it now? Of course, but was it?
I think so. I mean, I think it's like. It's possible. Obviously, Derek Lively came in and made meaningful. Played meaningful minutes for the Mavericks. I mean, it's not unprecedented, but it is pretty unprecedented for the Denver Nuggets and Michael Malone. Sure. But it sucks. Like, the whole thing sucks, and it just feels really bad this time of year. But I have a feeling. Yes, he's just got to be like the bench guy. Remember when P. Watt was the bench guy? When
the towel waiver.
Yeah, dude. When yes, and what's our guy that went to whatever? God, I can't remember anybody's name today.
Yeah, well, dude, I'm telling you, this is the funniest thing about being in Vegas this long. We're all so much dumber than we were.
I can't.
Like, let's say your IQ is like 110. You're like, I don't know, 105 something. Right now, it's probably like 90.
Yeah, Malik Beasley. Like
That's who you couldn't think of?
Yep. Okay. He would be on the bench, just like cheering it up. He was the guy. Like, so DaRon Holmes has an opportunity to really ingratiate himself to Nuggets fans, the team itself, and like you guys are saying, just kind of absorb what it is to be a professional. So it's not a total lost cause, even though it is a total bummer.
The last thing I'm going to say on DaRon Holmes, because we didn't really talk about him because he got hurt before we ever got to it, a lot bigger than I expected. Physically, like we were talking about this the other day, like Jared Vanderbilt, if you recall, similarly, I think people think of him as the same size. Jared Vanderbilt had little stick legs, man. He was so skinny. DaRon Holmes is pretty, like, thick. Like, he has like strong thighs. I looked at that and I was like,
male form corner.
The male form corner here, he had a sturdier base on him than I think people realized.
Yeah, I mean, that helps. That helps with how he was going to be used. Like, he could be the 4 and he could stretch because we saw the shooting. Yeah. We saw him in that way. We saw the athleticism in college on the highlights and things like that. But also, if you have to step out and be a backup center, which I'm sure at times he was going to be, like, having a bigger stature, like, is going to go a long way in that. And now he has no choice but to get his body ready and right. So he's going to have to, continue that. And now it's all about how will I get my body stronger, to get back to that type of level. But he was a lot bigger than I thought.
I think there's 2 types of prospect, like young guys. Ones that, like, never look at the playbook. You have to tell them 100 times, they never absorb it, this or that. I think DaRon Holmes is going to be a guy that, like, goes home and quizzes himself on it. That's the impression I get from everybody I talk to. Yeah. Total dork, to be honest with you guys. No, I think he's a guy that is going to be like, okay, how can I maximize whatever it is that's in front of me? And so,
last thing I would say though on the summer league question and like on the broader sense, I think the guys that are third-year players that if you ever hear maybe they don't want to go, they don't want to play. I think it's important to remember what happened to Holmes, who was a rookie by the way and was always going to play, but. Depending on your situation, there can be much more to lose than gain by coming out here. And so just something to keep in mind.
1,000%. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, I want to take a look at the ghost of Summer League Pass. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
The ghost of Summer League Pass. We've been here for a lot, man. We've been here for a lot of Summer Leagues.
One of them was Harrison.
Summer League is Summer League has changed a lot. The show has changed a lot. Where we stay in Vegas has changed a lot. One thing that hasn't changed over the years. Hey guys, I'm doing an ad read right now, so you can just nod.
We're texturing the ad read.
No, there are headphones, so I can hear you. A lot's changed over the years. One thing that hasn't, the great taste of Miller Lite. It's the original light beer, and to this day, it's still the best one. Drank a lot of them this week. Gonna drink more when we get back because, it's Miller time. It's always Miller time. Times change, but you can always enjoy the great taste of Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/DNVR, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, and this whole week has been brought to you largely by our friends at Circa Resort and Casino, who have put us up here. They put us out here in Stadium Swim.
Sending me home with cash in my pocket.
Sending Adam home with cash in his pocket.
Unless I do something real reckless on my way out the door today.
You will.
Which I don't know. You know?
You've seen us live from Stadium Swim. It's where we are now. You've seen us live from the world's largest sports book, where we enjoyed some shows and some football together. I'm talking world football. And we've enjoyed the showers in our resort rooms as well.
Separately,
not together. Suds with Buds. Experience Stadium Swim and watch your favorite teams at Circa Resort and Casino.
Are we back? We so back? All right. Summer League is always fun. You always joke about, we get all so excited that we get out there, this or that. Doesn't stop us from making broad, giant proclamations about these players. Sweeping proclamations. But I thought, let's take a stroll down memory lane and see about what would we be saying about former Nuggets if they were to put up the numbers they put up in Summer League if we were going back. Let's start with one Nikola Jokic. Ooh. You guys ever heard of him? Second round pick of 2015. He averaged, without looking, Dev, how many points would you think he averaged?
I would say...
I think we talked about this the other day, didn't I?
I don't know. I would say 8.
You son of a... He averaged 8 points a game.
We didn't talk about that. At least not averages. 6
rebounds per game, 1.4 assists. Think about it, the greatest passing big man of all time and probably like a top 5 passer all time. What did he average assist-wise in Summer League? 1.4. And he played a lot. He played, quite a few minutes. He averaged 3 turnovers. He had a 3-to-1 turnover to assist ratio.
That means that he was just trying things out there. He's like, let me show out in some way.
And king of efficiency, would you say, Jokic, his game? 45% or 46% from the field, Jokic.
I love how Adam watched this and thought, man, he looks great. Somehow and you were right.
It was all Ian Clark's fault. He kept throwing great passes to Ian Clark. He wouldn't cut right. Moody over here wide open layup, hits the bottom of the rim. In all sincerity, man, you look at those numbers, man. Those are Hunter Tyson's putting up those numbers right now.
It's true. It's true.
And people are super down on him because, you have to be. You're a prisoner of the moment. You're seeing this right now. Who knows if that, is going to project. And then also, it's it just shows the type of situations that you're in. Summer League is a lot different from certain type of players. Some people are going to stand out in different ways. Some people are going to stand out, in better ways. So, if Jokic was the draft pick, and this is all that we were focused. We would have said this is mediocre. He showed some pop. We would have gave him a green ball.
Ooh, green ball. Damn.
Any other thoughts on this Jokic, Dylan? We'll move on. All right, you guys.
We move on.
The following year, Jamal Murray comes in and he puts up 19.6 points per game, 2.5 assists per game. Only shot 27.5% from 3 and 42.5% from the field. But those are good numbers. 20 points per game is good numbers. It puts the Trey Alexander into perspective. I think Trey Alexander right now is around 14 points per game, which is really good. But Jamal Murray, those numbers are good but very inefficient.
Yeah, that's, think about Jamal Murray, who then went in and how long did it take him to hit a shot?
Oh, my God.
So
27 shots or something like that, yeah. It was something like that. It was took
something
so
like that.
long.
It was an uphill battle for
It was like
Jamal.
30 shots.
It was an uphill battle.
Can you
for him.
imagine if Julian this year to start missed his first 27 threes? We'd be like, all right, it's over.
Guys, I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, that's the difference, though. Like, it's funny. Those guys came into a climate where the team was searching for its identity, and so there wasn't any. I mean, I remember watching this. There wasn't any panic at all. We were like, oh, okay, cool.
Oh yeah, because you knew the runway was so
and we're
long.
like, we're
it's a
like
great
Jamal
point.
Murray's going to be our guy. But like now, everybody that comes in, we're like, is that going to be the difference between a championship or not? Which is like a very different conversation, that you find yourself in. But I remember Jamal Murray being awesome. But like those numbers are not. He was summer league awesome.
Julian Strawther's averaging 10 more points than him.
That's wild.
Or 9 more points than
That's
him. I know, it's
wild.
kind of wild to think. That's a lot.
Although Julian he's played 2 games. And one was good and one was okay.
You're right. There's always one bad game for these guys. Let's go to another summer league standout. 2021. Bol. 21.7 points per game, even more than Jamal. 6.7 rebounds per game, 2.3 blocks per game, and what do you shoot from 3? 40%. Those are big boy numbers.
Those are big boy numbers.
Those are tall boy numbers.
It was also the timing. Like, first off, everybody loved Bobo. Like, he had everybody coming to pack the arena. Like, he was the face of it, even though he didn't go super high in the draft. It was a circus act. Like, it was so entertaining, a sideshow that everybody wanted to see. He was not with the team, showed up like the day of Summer League, right? Like, it was something weird that happened. And then he comes and he destroys in that way that, like, I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, there's something there. I think that there's like some people that play bad in Summer League where it sticks with them. He played so good in Summer League that it's like, hey, there's still something. We're gonna get him, and things are gonna change because they've seen that.
It's funny though, because this is an important reminder. Because if you ever ask yourself why the Bold conversation was even a conversation, he's actually is really good at basketball.
Yeah,
he's talented.
Yeah, he just doesn't like it.
He is. He put up 21 points per game on 40% from 3 as like a 7-footer in Summer League. Like, he's good, but there's more to being a good NBA player than talent. And obviously, Bold's career has not worked out that way, and everywhere he goes, it's a similar path. But it's just important to remind ourselves, there was a reason why people were interested in him to begin with.
Bol was incredible. He was electric. And then we saw him walking the strip at like 2 a.m. and we saw coaches telling him to go study his playbook. It was hilarious, but like he just rolled in, like exactly like Dev said. The team couldn't get a hold of him. He just showed up.
That's right, that year they didn't even know he was on the team.
They didn't even know if he was going to be on the team. He just showed up and just started shelling
squads. So you got our messages.
Yeah,
Thanks for replying.
Just stretch when he comes into the what? And then he goes and destroys.
Just destroy. We were like,
true story, by the way.
The whole thing. It was so awesome, and it really puts Summer League into focus. It just couldn't be any further from reality.
By the way, if you just added Bol to this year's Summer League roster, we'd all be like, man, the Nuggets have such a bright future, man. Bol. You got Trey, you got Bull, you got Julian. Meanwhile, it's like,
His is the timing. He was the timing.
Speaking of other great prospects, let's go to also that same year, Bones Highland.
God damn, that was such a beautiful
19.8
year.
points per game, even better than Jamal Murray, 3.4 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and you want to talk about efficiency, 40% from 3, took almost 9 threes a game, so he was getting the Julian level volume, shooting the Julian level percentage, but he had the ball in his hands. Him and Bol were like such a fun duo.
So fun.
This one's a little tough because we think Bones is good, but it's been 2 years since he's played a game.
Yeah, but also when he gets minutes, when he gets time, he's electric. He's gonna score every single time. This is the ideal situation for a Bobo and a Bones. Like, if you're a hooper, you come out here and this is open gym for you. You're gonna get the best of everyone every single time out. Like, I think that they should have had those runs like Jimmer Fredette, where you could have played forever in Summer League and just been the all-time scorer. Like, they're primed for this type of situation. But I think that Bones he's a player. I really do. I think that it's the opportunity's not there for them. But when we see that, these are the type of performances that he could have. And if you put him in Summer League right now, it's a main attraction every time.
Yeah, Bones is another guy who's more talented than, again, it may never work out for Bones, much like Bull, but he is very talented, and it was really fun to watch those guys together. Remember, wasn't Bones like laid off the flight
Yes,
too?
it was he was it was like a COVID scare.
Yes,
like
everything was. And he just rolled in.
He just rolled it, but we didn't know.
Literally, like from the arena straight to the gym. He saw stretch. You could see he was all hurrying to stretch and stuff. He's a hooper, man. That guy. Not everybody would play in that moment. He was like, hell yeah. Where are my shoes?
Dude, we were like, oh my god, yeah. It was so exciting.
Was so dope.
And then he put up like 6 points, but it was incredible. I miss it.
But it was also fast.
It also that's what like really stoked my love of Summer League. It's just like
we had two guest appearances. Like it's like you go to a concert and somebody brings out and guess who else is here, baby?
Future!
Allen and Bobo. You're going crazy.
And then the last one, of course, Hunter Tyson, another ghost of 20.8 points per game, 6 rebounds, 50% from 3 on 7 threes, huge volume, and then this year completely different. I just bring it up. We talked about this a little bit yesterday, but all of those guys you look at and you go, Yoke's numbers so unimpressive, Bol so impressive, Murray, Bones. And the other thing I'll say about this is Bones, Bol, Murray, what do they all have in common? They're all nice. They're all nice. You come to Summer League, can they get their own shot? Yeah, they're nice with it, and they play well. And like those guys just tend to break out a little bit better. So I say that to not lessen your excitement. You should get excitement, but to lessen your nerves more of like, hey, man, this stuff is all a lot of mystery ahead. But it was fun. Those are the best Nuggets of Summer League history, I think.
So fun, dude.
Yeah, those are the best. And Skeeta won the MVP of Summer League back in like 2002. Real quick, we're going to go to the final break here and then bring on Cedric Exquisite. But want to tell you guys, on the 21st of July, we are going to have that opportunity. 4 people can get a ticket to Circa. That is the flight and hotel room at Circa. You just got to come to the DNVR bar. If you want more information, thednvr.com and the events page right there. Oh, my God, look who it is. My number one hater in the world, Cedric Exquisite, joins the show. My number one hater.
Nah, man, I don't hate you. You know I'm just fucking with you. Excuse my language. But no, hey, what's up, Dev? What's up, Vogue?
What's up?
Hope you guys are doing good.
It's
good to see you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's really hot, but look who I'm repping today. I have to.
Good
call, man.
Good call, man.
So I gotta ask you, man, because we met you last year at Summer League. That was the first time we met you. I'm not sure you knew who we were.
No, I actually did. It was mainly D-Line, though, who introduced me to this podcast, and I kind of saw you on. I saw you with Tim Legler a lot, interviewing him. Yeah, it's weird. I saw you guys on Twitter. It was actually on Twitter first, and then I saw you guys had YouTube set up. I mean, there was all that, and then. I just started following all of you guys, and then when I saw you guys were doing a whole podcast together, I'm like, oh, wow.
So, because we've seen you in a lot of chats. You watch a lot of the stuff. Where did you start? What was the first piece of ALLCITY content that got you in?
It wasn't ALLCITY. It was actually Online with D-Line. You're going to laugh. This was during coronavirus, and actually...
I've never heard it referred to as coronavirus.
I'm serious when I say it, though. Like, I found... Yeah, that too. I honestly didn't know what to expect. I was just like laughing at memes. Eric was just coming up with some of the funniest takes ever. And then obviously then I started seeing like the rest of you guys, DNVR. I saw actually I wish he was here. Shout out to Wind and my cousin Corey because like you guys are the best. But I found Wind through I think it was TDSP, or he was still doing like his own separate.
Okay. And you found him. All right. Well, how did you become a Nuggets fan? Because you're out here in Vegas, right?
No. Yeah. So this is gonna sound crazy. I was born in Denver. I was raised in California, in LA actually, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit of a Laker fan, but I would never. No, don't say it. I know. I'm not a real Laker fan. No. Hey, stop playing. I'm literally serious when I say this though. My favorite player back in the day was actually Magic Johnson when growing up as a kid, or just watching his highlights.
Yeah, and then it's not surprising.
Yeah, but for the longest time, then it was Kobe Bryant, and then he retired. But then KCP. It's actually gonna sound crazy. I met KCP out here in 2013 during Summer League, and I have his Lakers jersey. Before that, and then all of a sudden, no, I'm serious. Yeah, I would show you guys, but it'll take too long. But I have him. I actually still have his white the Denver jersey we wore last year. That was good luck. So honestly, really grateful. But that, and then we all know what happened. He's now in Orlando, and I'm very. It's all right though. What other questions do you have for me?
So well, just tell me real quick. What's your takeaway from Summer League?
Well, aside from the big, obviously news about Holmes. I think this is kind of a hot take already. I think Julian Strawther he could be our most improved player if he comes ready, and I think he's honestly going to be really ready to develop in the year. What is he? Is he a 3 or 2? What is he?
I think a 2. He's a 2. He'd probably play some 3 if he had to in some configurations.
I think he would be, yeah. Like I definitely think right now Yeah, he's definitely more of a 2. But yeah, I mean, he could be both. So I definitely think he's going to be our most improved, though.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
Are you nervous at all about the Nuggets and this offseason? Because some Nuggets fans are panicked. Some Nuggets fans are cool as a cucumber. Which one are you?
No, I am in between. But I will say this, and just to get this out of the way, guys. No, I don't hate Jamal Murray. I think honestly, and Kale, please rate this hot take for me. I have a hot take ready. No, this is the one that you told me. So no, I think Jamal Murray is going to have the best season. He's going to average at least 20+ points.
That's a good one.
Per
I
game.
like it. Good job. That's a good one.
I say 7 assists.
How many points?
And then 20+ points assists. As in 20+.
Okay.
20+ points. That's what he averages. 7 assists and 5.5 rebounds at least minimum.
So,
and of course,
how hot is this take?
all-star.
He's going to average his regular career averages.
He's going to be an all-star, though, I think. Like, no, that's actually where I was going to say. That's what I think he's going to finally achieve. No, that's the bigger hot take. No, he's going to average at least that.
3, 4, 3 peppers.
All right. That would be good. I'll tell you what, man. If Murray's an all-star next year, the Nuggets are doing good. Like, we can reduce all the other variables down to, you tell me he's an all-star, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're probably a 2 seed, and they're going to win the title.
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll still be top 3. No, I think they'll be top 3.
Awesome. Just stick on Summer League. Like, who stood out? Who do you think needs to do a little bit better?
It's definitely Trey Alexander for me. I've been watching him. Yeah, he's definitely grown. Obviously, Hunter Tyson's still there, but I think, he's kind of averaging mid right now. I'm not saying, he's stand out, but I still think he'll be, benefiting us, and he can come off, even off the bench as a rotation, hopefully, if he develops. And then, what's his name? I still think, what's his name, Jalen Pickett? I don't know, man.
Yeah, Jalen Pickett.
I'm kind of mixed about him, though. That's the thing.
That's nice that you're still mixed. Most people are fully out.
Yeah. What is it that you see? What do you think what's the positive?
With who?
With Jalen Pickett. Because you're
I don't
mixed.
really. Well, it's more negative, honestly, than positive. But at the same time, I mean, he fits the point guard role. But I just don't think that some of the things he does, I see him chucking up last-second shots. I see him, holding onto the ball last second. Or I know he's not, obviously the most physical, or he's not the biggest guy out there. But I still give him credit for, at least trying to, pass the ball. He's always, trying to rotate it around and, just facilitating overall. So.
Okay. All right, well, we have one super we have to get to because we have to be out of here in exactly 2 minutes here. You want to say, he just took a selfie on the show. Has anybody ever done that before? A live during the show selfie? Get one more in. Get one more in. We'll get the post.
Fine.
Live on the show.
No, what's up, fellas?
What's up, everybody? The chat's going wild. All right, we do have one super chat. It comes from Hugo48. He says, let's go, Cedric. Nice to see you on the screen. You should be a permanent guest. Love to Kale and all the DNVR guys. Greetings from Germany.
Thank you, Hugo.
No, thank you, guys. Thank you.
So you know Hugo from the chat.
Yeah, Hugo. That's my guy on Twitter.
So can we stop talking shit?
No, don't worry, man. I'm not talking shit with you anymore. Just know that. I know. We're just fucking with each other.
Cedric, we love you, buddy.
I love you, too.
If that's what you want to do, if you love the trolling, be you.
We're just fucking with each other. Hey, Kale, I just hope you know I'm just fucking with them at the end of the day. I'm not trying to be serious.
He doesn't want to get banned.
No,
he does not want the ban hammer.
I do not.
Kale ban hammer coming down on him. Please, no.
Cedric, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
And thanks to everybody for hanging out with us, man, out here at Summer League, following us along. We're going to be doing shows on Wednesday and Thursday this week when we get back to Denver. So you'll be more of us. In fact, in that time, we're going to be reacting to tonight's Summer League game, tomorrow's Serbia game. We got actual basketball to kind of go over. I'm excited for it. Everybody, signing off. Hit that like button on the way out.
Follow us on Twitter.